Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appear in our today's Hindi newspaper. First I'll let you know important topics of the day and later on we are going to see each and every article in detail guys. Okay, first topic it is about NSO survey shows better health seeking behavior. NSO is nothing but National Statistical Office which conducted a survey, and this survey it is related to health seeking behavior. Here you have to see about the key highlights of this survey, and whenever you are writing any answer regarding health from Garden's point of view, this article will be very important and you may get a question on NSO in your prelims. And next topic is US returns 657 trafficked artifacts to India in $14 million restitution. So here you have to see about which is the act which talks about artifacts in our country, what exactly this artifacts mean. So this topic is important from your GS paper 1 under history, especially from art and culture. And next topic is India and Sri Lanka reaffirm maritime ties through bilateral diving exercise in Colombo. So this article is talking about India-Sri Lanka diving exercise, that is DIVEX. And this topic is important from IR and as well as defense point of view. And next article is Modi inaugurates 594 kilometers Ganga Expressway in Uttar Pradesh, praises overall development. So if there is any inauguration of major infrastructure project in our country, that will become important. And in this 2026 prelims, you can expect a question on this Ganga Expressway. And this topic is important from geography and as well as economy point of view. And next topic is compounding gains. The New Zealand Free Trade Agreement builds on 7 recent FTAs. So here, because of lots of articles which are there in our newspaper related to this FTAs, and even in your UPSC series 2026, they gave a question related to this India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement. In 2026 prelims of UPSC also, you may get a question regarding this FTAs. It is one probable question. And even India-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement is also a possible question in UPSC CSE 2026. Here we have to see that 2 important areas from economy GS paper 3 point of view. And next topic is cart before horse. Recently Supreme Court gave a judgment, extended Article 21. What is that judgment? Even traveling on highway should be safe, and it is part of 21, Article 21. So here this article is talking about one important technology which is going to ensure safety on these national highways. That technology is V2V technology. If there is any new technology which is there in use, as you know, you have science and technology in your syllabus. UPSC will sure ask question related to that technology. And in this 2026 prelims, there is a chance of getting question on V2V technology. So we have to see that. All these are the topics now we are going to see in our class. Okay, see this article, read out the title guys. NSO survey shows better health seeking behavior. First important keyword is NSO, full form is National Statistical Office. And second important keyword here is health seeking behavior. Okay, you know about this NSO, many a times we discussed, it will be releasing different reports. Recently we discussed about Index of Industrial Production which had been released by NSO. Okay, you know little bit about this NSO, keep it aside. Now tell me, what does this health seeking behavior means? Health seeking behavior, what is the meaning of this word health seeking behavior? Come on, think and tell me. Online students, tell me in the comment box, what is the meaning of health seeking behavior? What does it mean? What is the meaning of that word, health seeking behavior? If you are having any problem, you are not staying in your home, you are going to hospital and you are trying to get the treatment. That is called as health seeking behavior. Okay. So here this article title says that NSO survey shows better health seeking behavior. So meaning of this article title is NSO did a survey. In this survey they find out that there is increased awareness about health to the people and they are approaching healthcare centers. That is the meaning of this title of this article, guys. Okay, now what you have to see? You have to see what exactly the highlights of this survey is about, and next you have to think about what is the impact of increasing of health seeking behavior in the people. So how it is going to impact our economy, our country in the future. So these two are the important areas that you have to see from mains point of view, and from prelims point of view you may get a question on NS1. So consider the following statements regarding NS1. They may give you statements and they may ask you which of the above are correct or incorrect. So these are the possible questions that you can get from this article. And from this survey you can add data while you are writing any answer or essay related to health. Okay, and it is also one important and favorite area of UPSC, where UPSC will ask question frequently. Okay, now let us see the context. If you see context, it says that NSO did 80th round of household social consumption health survey. The name of that survey is Household Social Consumption Health Survey, and it approached around 1.39 lakh households, and they asked questions related to healthcare. And in that survey, they find out that there is some positive shift in India's healthcare landscape. When you are comparing with the 75th round of the same kind of survey which held in year 2017-18, and in this 2025, there is a lot of change they observed. Related to what? First one is there is increased health awareness to the people, and even people are having insurance cover. There is increased insurance cover, especially health insurance, and there is increased use of public facilities like hospitals. And next one is even there is controlled out of pocket expenditure. So in all these areas, when we are comparing with the 75th survey and if you are comparing with this 80th survey, there is a lot of improvement we saw. That is about this article. Are you understanding? So now let us see the highlights. The first one here is they are comparing rural areas with urban areas. If you see this infographic also, you can see rural and urban, and this blue color is 75th survey and this red is 80th survey, and you are comparing the 75th with 80th. Okay, and they are showing every highlight here. Okay, are you understanding here this image? It is comparing rural areas with urban areas, and they are comparing with 75th data with 80th round data now. Okay, now let us see what exactly the highlights of this survey. First important point they said is about proportion of population reporting. So actually it is doubled. If you are comparing with the last time, it was just 66.8% of people they used to report anything, but now it increased to 12% in rural areas. In urban areas from 91 to 14% they had increased, especially reporting about which kind of diseases they are getting. Okay, reported illness. Why they are increased reportedness? Why they are increasingly reporting their diseases? Because of rise of awareness about the health. And next one here is health insurance or government scheme coverage also had been expanded 3 times. In rural areas earlier it is just 12% of insurance. Now it is 45%. In urban areas 8% to 31%. That means overall health insurance cover had been increased 3 times. That is the second point they said. And next one here is out of pocket expenditure. So what is this out of pocket expenditure? If you are going to any hospital, for example, if you are going to government hospital, in government hospital consultation is free and medicine will be free, and even whatever the test that you have to do, that will be also free. But if in case that medicines are not available in government hospital, or if that test are not available in that hospital, then what we have to do? We have to go outside and we have to pay from our pocket. Yes or no? If you are going to private diagnostic center or private medical shop, then you have to pay from your pocket. That is called as out of pocket expenditure. So if there is no proper facilities in our government hospitals, what happens to this out of pocket expenditure? Increases or decreases? Increases. Now because of improvement of hospitals, especially infrastructure, even this out of pocket expenditure had been reduced. This is the third important point which mainly said, that means there is increasing infrastructure and availability of services in even government hospitals now. And fourth important point is increased utilization of public facilities. Like in rural areas, we will be having this PHCs, primary healthcare centers. So here now in rural areas also the people started using more and more private healthcare centers. So because of this there is rising of public facility use. And next one is maternal and child health progress also had been increased. Normally if you go to rural areas, delivery will be happening in this home itself. Because of that there will be lots of complications after once delivery is done for both baby and as well as mother. So because of this government is promoting institutional delivery. Institutional delivery is nothing but delivery under supervised persons in a hospital. So because of increased awareness now even rural areas also people are going to hospitals for delivery. So here this survey is saying that there is increased access for this institutional deliveries. Earlier it is 90%, now it is 95% in rural areas. In urban areas 96 to 97.8%. So because of this we are promoting universal safe motherhood in our country. Okay, and next one here is epidemiological shift. Earlier, normally which kind of diseases are more? Communicable diseases are more, especially cholera, diarrhea, everything. And nowadays what government is doing, government came up with this program called as Mission Indradhanush. Under that Mission Indradhanush, what government is doing is providing vaccines for the children and as well as pregnant women. So that we are preventing some kind of diseases by providing vaccines. And not only that, the major source of spread of communicable diseases, contamination of food and water. Earlier people used to get water from the nearby lakes and ponds and they used to drink that water. But now under this Jal Jeevan mission, government is trying to provide functional tap hold water facilities. Yes, and even government is providing safe drinking water to the people through tankers in some areas. So because of this we tried to control this communicable diseases. But which kind of diseases are increasing now? Non-communicable diseases. Yes or no? Recently we discussed about obesity index. What it says? In India, in every 5 children, one is having obesity. Yes or no? So here this survey is saying that there is decline of infectious diseases because of rise of awareness, vaccine availability, improved sanitation through this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan mission. So we tried to control this infectious disease. But on another side, there is increased NCDs. NCD is nothing but non-communicable diseases. They are also called as lifestyle change diseases like hypertension, diabetes, heart diseases. They are increasing more compared to the infectious diseases. So these are the major key points which are given in this survey. So whenever you are writing this kind of points, you have to give examples of certain scheme which is focusing on it. For example, I said about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. I said about Mission Indradhanush. We have PM Poshan scheme. We have midday meals program, and we have Ayushman Bharat. We have Janani Arogya Yojana. So like that, whatever the schemes which are there, which are promoting this health, you have to quote that examples. Okay, so that you can add value for your answer. That's it, guys. Are you understanding? So whenever you are thinking these points, you have to think why we improved everything. Okay. Now you guys tell me what is the impact and why there is a rise of this health seeking behavior. What do you think? First one is awareness is increasing in the rural areas. Because of that they are going for this hospital and they are seeking proper health care. And next one is government is providing financial protection via schemes. Only if they are going for institutional deliveries, they will be getting 13,000 rupees for a girl baby and 12,000 rupees for the baby boy. At least for that money, they will go to hospital and they will go for delivery. It is also free of cost, right? So here, whenever government is providing that kind of financial incentives, for sure we can bring attitudinal change in the people. And next one here is, there is increased public health infrastructure and even access. Government is increasing its investment in these healthcare centers, and government is providing each and every equipment that is required now in hospitals. So improved infrastructure, it will attract more and more people to the hospitals. That is also next reason. And this one is broader societal changes because of increasing of literacy, because of increasing of urbanization, and we are focusing on preventive care, that is nothing but vaccinations. Because of all these things, now there is increased health seeking behavior in people, guys. Now you guys tell me, what is the impact? People are focusing on their health more. Is that good or bad? Is it good or bad? More health consciousness, good or bad? Good? Okay, now tell me, what will be the impact of increased health seeking behavior? Are you understanding my question? Tell me, what is the impact? Health anxiety. Next. First one here is financial protection. If the disease at in this earlier stages, curing is easy. If it is increasing its later stages, means curing will become difficult, and even we have to spend more amount of money as disease progress. Yes or no? So here we can protect finances. And next one here is equity gains. So because of improvements in insurance and as well as public and infrastructure, we are going to decrease the divide or gap between rural and urban areas. That is the next point. And next one is, obviously we can have better health outcomes. Always there is one famous saying, health is wealth. If health is lost, everything is lost. Yes or no? So here we can have the better outcomes. If we are healthy, we can work hard for longer duration of time. If you are not feeling well, will you sit and will you read? I am not feeling well, I am getting headache, I am getting nausea, giddiness, I'll go and I'll take rest. What happened? Productivity of the country will be reduced if the health of the people is not fine. And next one is system level effects. So here there is increased demand for public facilities required. The one important problem here is because of increased awareness, increased health anxiousness or increased health anxiety, that people will demand for more and more services in these healthcare centers. So because of this, government expenditure can be increased. That is the one negative thing. Okay. Next, see this article. Okay, see about this National Statistical Office. Please make a note. This time keep star mark for this NSO. You may get a question on this. NSO full form is National Statistical Office. It comes under MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Very important point. And this one is, it was formed in year 2019 by merging CSO and National Sample Survey Office. Earlier we have separate statistical office, Central Statistical Office and National Sample Survey, but now we merged those two in 2019 and we have this National Statistical Office. Okay, and what is its role? It will focus on collection, compilation and dissemination of official statistics. Whatever the official statistics are there at the national level, it will be collecting data, it will be analyzing data and it will be giving the data or releasing this data. And it is central authority for statistical standards, methodologies and classifications that is used by union ministries and even states. And it will support evidence-based policy making, planning, monitoring and development programs. Okay, so this is about this NSO, guys. You may get a question on this, be careful. Okay, see this article, read out the title. US returned 657 trafficked artifacts to India in $14 million restitution. So here this article is saying that US authorities, they sent around 657 antiquities or artifacts related to India. That is this article. So if you see the 657 antiquities, they value nearly $14 million. The value of that 657 artifacts is $14 million. And in the phase wise, they sent back to India. In phase 1, in November 2024, they sent around 612 artifacts to India. In July 2025, they sent around 26 artifacts. And next one is in April in 2026, they sent 19 artifacts. They are saying that totally we sent 657 artifacts to India. Okay, so it is a phased manner. It is there in the news from 2024 till 2026. So these topics are called as contemporary topics. Current affairs is nothing but which is there in that day or like in that week or in that month. It is called as current affairs. But contemporary topics are those topics which are there in news from last 2 to 3 years continuously. Those are called contemporary topics. From this current affairs and contemporary topics, you will be getting question in your prelims. So here you may get a question on this artifacts. Recently, artifacts are seen in news. Consider the following statements regarding it. And they will be giving you 2 to 3 statements and they may ask you to identify correct or incorrect. In that statements, they may give you what is the definition of this artifacts and antiquities. And next one is they may ask you about what is the law which is present in our country which is guiding this kind of protection. So in this way, you may get a question. Okay, if you see what is the meaning of artifacts or antiquities is nothing but it refers to ancient or historical cultural object which is having a significant value. If it is having a significant value from history onwards, then that is called as artifact or antiquity. So here in this items, what we got were bronze or stone idols of Buddha, Jain Tirthankaras, Avalokiteshvara. So we got these images. And next one is we got sculptures of deities, celestial dancers like Apsara or religious figures. We got this also. And next one is temple artifacts, terracotta sculptures, metal idols and carvings we got. Especially these were looted from the temples and in some archaeological sites or ancient monuments in India. They were illegally trafficked to US. And finally US is doing certain raids. In that raids they identified all these belongs to India and they sent back to India now. Finally, we got almost all of our antiquities which are illegally shifted to US back to India. Okay, here you have to remember one more thing. These often they are centuries old, sometimes dating back to 1000+ years also. And they have religious, historical, artistic and cultural significance for India. So, this is the meaning of artifacts or antiquities. And if you see law in our country, please make a note, we have India's Antiquities and Art Treasures Act of 1972. Please make a note, India's Antiquities and Art Treasuries Act 1972. You may get question on this act also. Consider the following statements regarding India's Antiquities and Art Treasuries Act 1972. Okay, according to this act, antiquities are defined as objects. It may include sculptures, paintings, coins, manuscript. So on this also UPSC can frame a question. Consider the following. They will give all these things and they may add something. And they will ask you which of the above are antiquities according to this act. Are you understanding? So according to this act, it may be sculptures, it may be paintings, even coins and manuscripts. They comes under this antiquities. Okay, and they should be at least 100 years or more than 100 years old. And they are protected as cultural property. And if we are exporting them without permission of government, then it is illegal. Okay, and who will be regulating them? We have Archaeological Survey of India. This Archaeological Survey of India will be regulating artifacts and antiquities in our country. Okay, clear? See this article guys, India, Sri Lanka reaffirm maritime ties through bilateral diving exercise in Colombo. So what is a diving exercise name? DIVEX. Yes, DIVEX 2026. How can you get a question? DIVEX 2026 is seen in news. It is between which and which countries? Option A, India, Thailand, India, Cambodia, India, Sri Lanka, India, Mauritius. Like that, you will be getting a question. It is between India and Sri Lanka. And recently, why we discussed this article, Divix? Which of our naval ship reached Colombo? Name of that ship, please. We discussed or not? On that day, I gave you the list of other important ships which are there in news. I said that you will be getting a pair-based question. Can you recall all those things? Tell me what is the name of that ship. You can see the ship here. This is that ship. What is the specialty of this ship? On that day, I said it is very special. INS Nirikshak. Can you recall this name? Very good. Tell me what is the specialty of that INS Nirikshak. I gave you a question on that also on that day. Prelims question. Consider the following statements regarding INS Nirikshak. What is the wrong statement? It is a shallow, deep ocean mission. It is a deep ocean mission. No. Now tell me, I am giving you hints also. What is that ship is about? It is deep sea diving ship which is used for submarine rescue. Yes or no? On that day we discussed or not? If submarine is having any problem, we'll take this ship and we'll be helping our navy people to dive deep into the sea. And it participated in one of the deepest missions of India till 275 meters below the sea level. We discussed that all, no? On that I gave that statement also. If you forget like this, forget me also tomorrow. I will not come to class. Day after tomorrow, you can forget me also. How many days back we discussed this? Not even 1 week, no? Then if you forget like this, then what is the use of me to taking this analysis? You have to revise at least once in every 2 days, or else you'll forget everything. Current affairs is like they will be adding on day by day basis only. Yes or no? So you have to remember. I don't know what will you do. You have to schedule your revision for current affairs. If you are in this space, how can you remember 1.5 year current affairs at the end of your year before your examination? Can you recall all those 1.5 year current affairs? Is that possible? Do you think? If you are having this kind of bad memory. Okay. Revise about this INS Nirikshak. I gave you notes on that day. Just I want to check your memory power. Because of that, I added this article. I don't have any other intention to add this article because I already discussed about this Divex. I discussed about this INS Nirikshak. Just to test your memory, I added this. Just revise this once from your notes. See this article, guys. Read out the title. Modi inaugurates 594 kilometers Ganga Expressway in Uttar Pradesh. Praises overall development. What is this article talking about? It is talking about Ganga Expressway. So if there is any new infrastructure which is there in news, for sure UPSC will ask a question. In 2023, the question was on greenfield airports and brownfield airports. At that time, the airports were in news. And now we have Great Nicobar project which is in news. There also they are talking about greenfield airport, township development and nuclear power plants. Yes or no? And recently in this Kudankulam, we reached the critical stage. Yes, because of that, this time you may get a question on nuclear energy, guys. Very important. And nuclear power plants you have to see in India, and you have to see about small modular reactors. Because in our budget, our government announced that we have to increase more and more small modular reactors, no? So because of this interconnection, because of these dots, if you are connecting this, you can get a question on this nuclear energy, nuclear fusion reactions. That is possible thing, guys. Okay, see this article, it is talking about Ganga Expressway. Just to see about what are the facts regarding this Ganga Expressway, and you have to see what are the advantages of this expressway. Do you know the meaning of expressway? In Hyderabad also we have an expressway. What is the meaning of expressway? Expressway. Expressway. Have you heard this word expressway? Express, bus, ordinary bus, express, luxury. What is the meaning of express? It will not stop in all stops, only the major stops it will stop, and the speed will be normally more, right? For example, let us take, there is one airport here and there are different roads which are connected. So if the traffic is more, if there are any frequent traffic jams which happens on that road, can we reach airport on time? So if your flight is at 10 a.m., at least 1 hour before you have to reach this airport for checking, for everything, security checks, everything. Minimum 1 hour before you have to be there in this airport. So if there is any traffic which is more, can we reach on time? No. At that time, government will be building flyover kind of separate ways near this airports. Okay, only 4-wheelers can move on that. There will be no eligibility to allow this 2-wheelers or 3-wheelers on that road. Only 4-wheelers, not even 6-wheelers or 8-wheelers. Lorries and trucks will be not allowed. Only 4-wheelers will be allowed on that flyover kind of separate road. So are called as expressways. Okay, near this airports we can see this kind of expressway. Okay, so now it is talking about Ganga Expressway, guys. In which state it is there? In UP. You have to remember that one. So this Ganga Expressway is a greenfield expressway project in Uttar Pradesh. What is the meaning of greenfield and what is this meaning of brownfield? In infrastructure we'll come across these two, no? Greenfield and brownfield. What is this greenfield is about? Entirely new project. Brownfield is second hand. We are just going for renovation of that already existing project, then that is called as brownfield. Greenfield is entirely new project. So here this Ganga Expressway is a greenfield expressway project in Uttar Pradesh and it is connecting western UP with eastern UP. Okay, and the length here is 594 kilometers. It is very long and it is connecting major districts like Meerut, Hapur, Bulandshahr, Amorha, Sambhal, Badaun, Shahjahanpur, Hardoi, Unnao. So like that it is connecting around majorly 12 districts. And the importance of this expressway here is it will be improving connectivity. And next one here is it will be also linking with other expressways which are present in this area like Yamuna Expressway, Agra-Lucknow Expressway, Purvanchal Express, and will be boosting connectivity from this Delhi to eastern UP region, and it will also improve the last mile connectivity. Obviously, whenever we are having this kind of infrastructure which will be ensure like fast movement of vehicles, they will be not having any like speed restrictions also. They have to maintain like 100 or 120 speed on this, and here it will be improving the trade and as well as industry, and even tourism can be improved, and even socio-economic development of that region can happen. So how can you get a question? Consider the following statements regarding Ganga Expressway and they will give you the statements. Okay, see this next article, guys. Compounding gains. This article is talking about India-New Zealand trade deal. So already what are the points we discussed yesterday's and before classes, we are going to just recall all those things, guys. Okay, if you see here, the first one here is what is a free trade agreement. You have to know that. Free trade agreement is a bilateral agreement. That means it happens between the two countries. What they will do? They will sign an agreement related to tariffs. There will be no tariffs, zero tariff, very low tariff, and which items there will be no tariff. They will be writing an agreement between the two countries. That agreement is called as free trade agreement. And what is the objective of this? To increase the trade between those two countries and to eliminate tariffs, to attract investments, to increase competitiveness between these two countries. So what are the main features? What will be there? So because of this frequent FTAs in the news, you may get question on this, especially features. Consider the following regarding FTAs, and they'll give you 4 to 5 these things, and they may ask you which of the above are part of FTA. Like that, you have to remember these features, guys. On this, UPSC can ask a question. So what are the main features? Reduction or elimination of tariffs will be there. Removal of non-tariff barriers like quota, licensing. And next one is rules of origin. to prevent misuse of tariff benefit. And next one is trade facilitation will be there. So there will be very simple custom procedures between the two countries. And next one is investment protection will be there. If there is any dispute between these two countries, there should be a dispute resolution body to clear the dispute between these two. And next one is there will be also cooperation services, digital trade and mobility of people. So all these areas or facilities will be there under free trade agreement. So if you see about India-New Zealand agreement, what are the provisions are there? In UPSC series, the question is in this way. Consider the following regarding India-New Zealand agreement. And they gave agriculture, elimination of tariff, investment, like that they gave 4 things. So actually as a part of this agreement, we have to remember 5 important provisions. First one is tariff elimination is there. So Indian goods on which 100% tariff elimination will be there. But what India is doing in retaliation, on 95% of goods which are coming from this New Zealand, we are removing this tariff. Those are the 2 important points. And next one is, we are also going to attract investment from this New Zealand. So how much it is? Nearly $20 billion of investments in next 15 years we are expecting from this New Zealand to India. That is the 3rd point. And next one is, we are also enhancing the easier movement of services and as well as people. That was the one point that we discussed in our practice question when we discussed about this India-New Zealand free trade agreement. I don't know whether you can remember or not. So even in this agreement, there is a provision of inclusion of services and as well as mobility. And next one is, they are focusing on agriculture cooperation. And even we have some sensitive sectors and we are removing that sensitive sectors like meat and as well as milk products, right? And see this article guys, cart before horse. Recently Supreme Court gave a judgment. Traveling safe on national highways is a fundamental right under Article 21. So what Supreme Court said, why accidents are happening? Because of illegal parking, illegal constructions and potholes, right? So these are the 3 major reasons it said related to this accidents on this national highways. Why Supreme Court gave this judgment? If you see the total road system in our country, only 2% is our national highways, but national highways are contributing for 30% of accidents in India, right? So because of this, it is affecting Article 21 of people. And now it is a responsibility of government to remove illegal constructions, illegal parking, and National Highway Authority of India is the only organization has to give permission, and even district collector role had been increased. Within 60 days they have to remove illegal constructions, everything we discussed, no? So here this article is saying that we have to improve safety. How can we improve safety? By incorporating technology. Yes or no? If you are incorporating technology, we can improve the safety on this highways. For that, in this article, they said about only one technology called as V2V. Can you see V2V? V2V, 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 like that, V2V technology. So here V2V technology is nothing but vehicle to vehicle technology. Please make a note. V2V technology. So how can you get a question? The first format of question is, recently V2V technology in use. It is related to, what will be the answer? Improve road safety on highways. Yes or no? And second format of question you can expect is, recently V2V technology is in use. Consider the following statements, and they'll give you statements about what exactly this technology is about. Okay? In these 2 ways you can expect a question. This is for sure short question you can expect in prelims, guys. Either in format 1 or format 2, for sure 100% question you can expect, keep star mark. Okay, what is this V2V technology? It is a wireless communication technology under intelligent transport system. It will help the vehicle to talk with vehicle. So whenever vehicles are moving on this national highway, one vehicle will be talking with before and as well as after it. And it is a wireless communication technology. And what they'll share? So this vehicle will be sharing information with the front and as well as back related to speed, how much speed it is maintaining, and the location, in which lane it will be moving. On highways we have different lanes, no? So in which lanes they will be moving, and acceleration, if they want to increase the speed, how much maximum speed they can increase, and as well as about the braking system. So all this information will be shared with the vehicle from that vehicle itself, and it is a wireless technology. So what is the benefit here? So we can prevent collision, and even this technology will alert the drivers related to black spots or blind spots on this roads, obstacles, and even parked vehicles. If there is a heavy smog also, sudden braking system will be operated on its own. And next one here is fatality reduction. So because of this technology, if we are stopping the accidents, obviously we can save the lives and we can reduce the deaths. And what are the challenges here? If one vehicle is sharing information with this another vehicle which is present before or behind it, obviously there is a problem of privacy. Yes or no? My car information is shared to other cars, so they may attack me or they may catch me, like that. You have seen many movies chasing on cars, etc. So what happens because of this? Many people, they think that it is a privacy, it is violation of right to privacy. That is the first important problem. Data privacy and security. Sometimes it may also leads to misuse because of cyber attacks as well. And next one here is technology penetration. So if you are increasing more and more use of technology in our day-to-day life, then what happens? It will be difficult. And next one here is, obviously if we have to incorporate that technology, is that much easy? No, we have to pay more and more amount. The cost of vehicles will be obviously increased so that the affordability can be reduced. And next one is, who will regulate this data? Again, we have to come up with one more body, we have to come up with one more guidelines related to this, and it will take a lot of time. So these are the challenges regarding this V2V technology. You may get a mains based question or you may get a prelims based question, and I will be giving you mains question on this topic today, guys. Okay, see this question. Consider the following statements regarding V2V communication. First statement is, it allows vehicles to communicate directly without relying on cellular networks because it is wireless. Next one is, it primarily uses radio frequency spectrum for communication. And third one is, it can help in preventing accidents by sharing real-time information. So whenever you are seeing can, 99% the statement is right only. Can, possibility. Yes, can means it can happen. The probability is more. May or can. If you see that two words in the statements, for sure that will be right in 99% cases. You can blindly go with that statement, yes it is right. That means in your answer the 3 will be there. Yes? Okay, see next one. It will allow vehicles to communicate directly without relying, yes, we are not using any wire, it is wireless. So it is also right. And next one here is, which kind of rays it will be using? It will be using radio waves only. You know this RFID, a FASTag, for every vehicle we will be having this FASTag. If you are moving your vehicle through this toll, automatically your money will be cut from your account. In the same way, they will be also using this kind of codes, FASTag related things, guys. Okay, so all these 3 statements are correct. They will be using this radio waves itself, like our FASTags. Okay. Yeah, see this next question, guys. With reference to free trade agreements, consider the following. They only deal with trade in goods. Second one is, they may include intellectual property rights provisions. Next one is, they aim to reduce non-tariff barriers. May is there. It will be may or can. 99% possibilities of correct. So here 2 will be there in your answer. Yes? 2, 2, 2. And what is the aim of this FTA? To reduce barriers only. Then this will be there. 3 should be there in your answer. 2 and 3. And see this guys, they only deal with trader. So whenever you are getting only, 99% it will be wrong. 99% it will be wrong, but you have to be very careful related to polity. In polity questions, if it is only, sometimes it may be right. You have to be careful related to this only in polity questions. Other than polity, if you are getting this only in any area, that will be maximum wrong. So here we are also going for services now. And even movement of people is also there. Why only goods? So answer will be 2 and 3. Okay, are you getting? In this way you have to solve your questions. That's all guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you want to start your UPSC preparation, we are going to launch a new batch in our academy for GS Prelims cum Mains Foundation guys. And if you want to join, we are providing either offline or online. You can contact us on this number 8074765513. If you have any queries or doubts, anything, you can contact us freely on this number, or you can also text me on this number on WhatsApp. And if you want to meet me directly, you can come to our academy, which is located in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad guys. And our institution is located above Vikas Book Center, 2nd and 3rd floor. You can come and you can meet me, and I will be there from morning to evening guys. Okay, so I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.